Welcome back. We get a D4 player. Okay. Um, let's go back to the Leningrad and see how that treats us. I'm gonna go. He's gonna go with the Fianchettoed Catalan type setup, and okay. So he clamps down in the center early. Like, give me this for the night. Maybe out here first. Or I could just push, make him take en passant. Let's try to play closed and positionally. Um, Clamp down on this E4 square. I may still push E5 in one push. We'll just have to see. I don't want to give his bishop scope. So I'm really not too concerned about that push. It gives him space. It gives him this nice outpost square here for a knight. I can trade off for it at the cost of a bishop. I don't remember the theory on this. Push in the center this early. Okay, so he's eyeing up this square immediately. Immediately. So now I can't push because he takes en passant and the pawn is protected. Can I push over here? He takes en passant this way. I take back. The bishop's eyeing up this. So that doesn't look great either. So he's got this hole for now. This is one of those instances where I think the threat is greater than the execution. Because if he plants the knight there, I can just trade it off, and then I have a nice target pawn right here. So I would like him to plant the knight there. So if I move my knight to c5, he gets kicked. Then I come here to attack the undefended knight. He takes, I take. I think that's the play. At no time do I want to break right here. Like, not right. Not anytime soon. I don't want to break. Give his bishop scope. I don't think so. I might be thinking about that wrong. Could be an error in my thinking, but we'll see what computer has to say. If he doesn't kick, what's his plan here? Castling seems pretty natural, normal. He also needs to get this bishop developed. That looks like an enticing square there. Tempting me with this, trying to provoke an e4 push. Though with the knight here, I have the square defended twice, so I think he would need to kick my knight first. If he develops the bishop here immediately, I have a e4 push with a fork, so he would have to take en passant, and I would have to take back. That could open up. Let's see. So if I take back, he takes with the knight. I take with the bishop. He's got this. My bishop is here eyeing this direction. Um, but I'd have this rook development. And with the bishop no longer there defending that, I think that's acceptable. So if I were him, I think I'd just castle and ask black to show their cards. If he castles, what's my next idea? I might just push a6 here to keep knights out of the b5 square. Might push e4 anyway. Pushing e4 without the bishop here. Okay, he does kick my knight. He kicks it. So I'm gonna reposition here, and he's gonna, okay, he's developed his bishop. Just let me take, bishop takes, knight takes, bishop takes, knight e4, attacking the bishop, opening my bishop. He doesn't want to trade this, I don't think. But he could just bring the bishop back and then chase my knight off. Ready? Could he do that? My idea is over here. Going knight to g4, threatening the f2 square. If knight takes and pawn takes, think he wants to get castled because I have a knight and rook looking at f2 there. And then I could bring my bishop out. Finally get that piece developed. If I go here and he tries to fork me, I've got an exchange here. Or even a fork here. Let's see where this leads. He takes, and I take back. He wants, I think he needs to get castled next. That gives me an opportunity to reposition my knight here. But first get my bishop out to an active square. He doesn't want to fork me. Forking me would be bad. I could take first and then come and fork his queen and bishop. He tries to kick me. I take the f2 pawn. So I think his play here is to castle. And then maybe, I don't know, can I flirt with the idea of two knights for the rook and pawn? Castles, takes, takes, king takes, f4, king back to g1. Pawn takes. Definitely giving him something to think about here. I mean, that's just castling. He could take, and then I can take with the pawn. And then okay, he castles first. Boy, I'd love to get my queen over here. If I try to push f4 now, I hang a knight. So what if I trade knights first and then push f4? But if I trade knights and then push f4, he can ignore that. Let's see, takes, bishop takes, f4. And he might get to swap off. Can he check? Can he attack my queen? The bishop's hanging, but the queen's under attack, so I would have to take with the bishop. That'd give him an opportunity to take my dark square bishop. And then I have the choice of saving. I would take the dark square bishop, and then he would take my light square bishop. And Lots of materials come off the board. Both bishops. I'm left with a knight, a knight and two rooks. He's left with a light square bishop and two rooks and a queen. So, hmm. If he takes me now and I take, he can just take with the bishop because there's no tricks. So maybe I reposition my knight. And I've still got this square if he kicks me. I'm going to reposition my knight. Leave this one here until he gives me a reason to move it. It's a nice piece right there where it is. So let's have our opponent make some concessions to get rid of it. What do I need to improve? I need to improve my light square bishop badly. I may just have to snake that back here. But with this knight here, this might be the most improvement I can get out of it. I think my next plan might be to push A6, keep the knight out of here, and then swing my queen over to the light squares and kingside pawn storm. Brings his queen out. Same diagonal as my king. Okay. Also defends his bishop. His bishop's no longer hanging. Yeah, let's go A6. Keep this square under wraps, and then move our queen. He tries to kick my knight. Can I ignore it? Just bring the queen out anyway. Takes. The knight's replaced. He's got to create running room for his king. Queen here, king here. I don't know if I can ignore that. I don't know if I can sack a knight. Although, I mean, if he ignores me, he plays a3. And I go queen h5. Can do it then. My attack is stunted. But I've induced a weakening move. Still got this retreat. Okay. Let's take that retreat now. And now I welcome any kind of pawn advances over here. That's where my pieces are aimed. Okay. I take once. Should I take once? Here, here. Should I just let him have that? I can't come here. So he's pushed me back a little bit, but I think I'm on a springboard here, about to jump right back into an attack. Because now I've got this weak square. Knight's coming here. Um, this other knight. Starting that. That was a nice move order. So I've abandoned this, attacking this, defending this. If he takes, I'm not worried about that. I can come here. And this pawn is a nail, technically, in my position, but it's also blocking this very desirable weakness that white wants to exploit. So does he bring his knight back to defend this? If he takes, I go knight here. Knight back to e2, defends this, and unleashes the bishop. Hmm. Knight here, knight e2, queen g6. H4. Ooh, this is a messy game. I go here and he comes knight back. Can I take here? I'm running into a pin there. Okay. That doesn't seem particularly helpful. Yes, it opens the queen, but I can just let it sit there, can't I? Okay. Well, what if I take first? And knight here attacking, and then queen here. This might be a difficult move one would find, but oh, he plays the rook there. Getting a little dangerous here with the queen and king on the same file, and a rook ready to sweep in. Now he brings the knight back. Okay. Now I think I don't know what I think yet. I don't ever really want to take this unless I'm absolutely forced to. So it might be worth improving my knight. But does that really improve it? What am I doing attacking these two squares? And it's certainly better than here. Maybe. What if I take with the queen? Oh, he pins. Yeah, that's a terrible move. Terrible idea. We've got to come up with some idea here. Well, let's. We've provoked weakness, so this knight doesn't really need to stay here. I would rather the knight be here now so that I could blunt this. Let's do that. Let's move the knight back over. Since this knight has gone backwards to defend, why didn't I? Oh, okay. Yeah, from previously, the knight was here and would have been able to swap off from here. That's why I didn't want to bring it there initially. I don't mind trading for the bishop. Okay, lifts the king. That seems solid. Now I'm going to bring the knight back to the center. He swaps bishops. Now my king is not on this anymore, so I might snap off that pawn and be up a pawn. Would I be up a pawn? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven pawns. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven pawns. I would be up a pawn. This will be a one pawn trade in 24 moves. It's under a minute now, so it's going to get hairy on this time pressure stuff. He defends the pawn, and I take fork. I think I can. The knight blocks a check, so that would be his saving move there. He doesn't have to take back here. Could just move the knight. That was his whole purpose, was to defend this. So that might hang the knight here, or the pawn here. I think I'm eking out a little bit of an edge here now. He brought the knight back, which blocked the protection of this pawn. So take with the queen or take with the knight. Queen's check, so queen. And I risk taking this pawn. I don't think I do. Could just back the queen up. No chance, no sense in giving him counterplay. Mm, wanted to stay on this diagonal because the knight has a perch here. Okay, he takes. Oh, might be in. If he gets on a dark square, we can still block here. That would be a check, though, right there, and that might be lights out. Now he's got this attack. If he can find it. Okay, that one also ends the rook. What does this do? It loses me a rook, is what it does. That's that's what that does. But I've got some pawns here to play with. I'm up 2 pawns for the exchange. My passer is more advanced. I like kind of like my knight. This looks like a reasonable threat. But then maybe I can come in with the knight and attack here. Ooh, he's just gonna bulldoze his way in. That's his plan. So what if I prevent that? Takes, and then he pushes. Probably push there to keep my knight out of here. Although I might have attacks here. He's got to be quite careful. Gets this, but I can attack here. He's got to back up the rook, so I will win this one. Suppose he can come forward with the rook. But that's a check. That's a fork, so that's bad juju. You got to come back here or here. And does he see that? Suppose he no, that's a fork, so he's got to come back. And he's running out of time. Oh, okay. That does keep everything together, doesn't it? Yee. What have I done? Ah, can't stop it. Big game. Ah, well then, let's review the game real quick. End game continues to need work. Looks like white had an edge pretty significantly throughout. There were chances where I made it equal, but it's what I expect out of the Leningrad. So a messy game with lots of opportunity. The computer's going to say it's better for white a lot of the time, but it's not easy to play. Um, so this was my mistake. Okay, this is where I start to go astray a little bit, but that looked very interesting. And it's only a 1 point edge, so what should I be doing instead here? My other option I thought was to just take the knight, and that's what the computer wants to do. Just take the knight. Keep it simple. But I wanted to complicate things because I'm stubborn like that. That was a blunder. The queen move was a blunder, which brought it back to equal, just a slight edge for black. But I missed my opportunity here with the queen. Where is my chance with the queen? At least here. Not sure that I see it. Oh, it does undefend this pawn. This, okay. It left the defense of the knight. I can take here. But that's a blunder. That's a big blunder. A significant blunder because he can take with check. So no, I cannot take there. Um, so how do I exploit this weakness? Maybe I take here. Knight takes, attack it again, double attack. No, that's not as good either. So what's my idea? It's exploiting this knight somehow, but I'm missing how to do it. Oh, it clearly tells me I overlooked the opportunity to win a pawn. What's the best move? Oh yeah, okay. Take here. Force the king to take. Then I check, and then I pick up the loose knight. Up a pawn. Okay then. Let's probably review. Yeah, the knight over here. Peter doesn't like it. I mean, there's a clear defense for it. It allows him to mobilize his knight a little bit. Doesn't think it should have done the other knight. He did the rook first, and then it calls it a mistake to bring the knight back. Oh yeah, that's a real threat. Okay. Back to an equal game here, even though I'm up a pawn materially, and I miss my chance here. I miss. Retry this queen move. Queen's under attack. Oh, I probably should just take the pawn here. Just go up two pawns in material. Easy to see now. Hmm. Had a better idea than the rook move. Perhaps. I thought about that move. I did think about that move, but I think I was in a little time. I was trying to put the squeeze on him with time. This just ends me up down a rook, and I shouldn't have traded the queen. I shouldn't have allowed the queen swap. I have an edge with the queens on the board, a very slight edge. Giving up the queen was a bad deal. So check is the first move that I am thinking about. This is another idea, fortifying this. He comes here, and then I come back to defend my back rank. The knight has this square defended. Not as good. Not as good of a move. Um, what's my best move? That's White's best move. I want my best move. In the rook. Perfect sense. Perfect sense. And from here, I'm down a lot, I think. Okay. Well, that was a Leningrad for you. Need to brush up on my theory again. Hope you enjoyed that. And come back and visit me for some more chess.